Hey guys, Retro Gaming Maniac here, and I'm here with a new series on my channel, I guess you would call it. And this is going to be the RetroCode Podcast, and basically it's going to be short. I'm thinking maybe 20-minute-ish podcast. It's going to be something I'm going to try to do every week on my channel. The main problem I have is always finding time to do these videos. I've still got other series that I'm supposed to do weekly, and I'm just having trouble keeping up. But I'm going to try to do this podcast, and I'm going to try to keep it between 20 and 30 minutes, because I find that the podcasts that are hour and a half, I usually only get 20 to 30 minutes into those podcasts myself, because a lot of the times I'm driving down the road or performing some task at work, and I'll have the podcast on in the background, and I only get 20 to 30 minutes into it. So there's a lot of information that goes unheard when I think personally, when people go and do like an hour and a half long podcast, a lot of people, I would guess a high percentage, only get at least a half hour into that podcast, if that, and maybe they skip around later. But yeah, so I'm going to try to do this podcast on a regular weekly basis. It's going to talk about things in the retro gaming side. It's going to talk about modern gaming, games that are coming out, and I plan, if this does okay, and I don't expect it to do too terribly great, because podcasts in general, from what I've seen, do not get a ton of views unless they're just a very well-known podcast. But hopefully it'll be something I enjoy doing. But anyways, it's called the RetroCode Podcast. And I've got a list of things I want to discuss today, mostly modern. A lot of it is Switch stuff. Obviously, the Switch just came out the other day, and it's getting some pretty good reviews. The main problem with the Switch is that it appears to not be a finished product. Yes, the system itself, the physical system, is finished, but the OS and the system, and the OS is just missing a lot of features. You do not have the eStore, so you can download like retro games and all that. You're missing the network capabilities. I mean, you have like the friend codes, but we have not got that app from Nintendo yet that allows us to really, make it a complete experience. So there's a lot of stuff that's still missing that may not come for several months. Now hopefully they bring it in sooner. But I was looking at some Switch news today, and I found this on several websites. I was going to try to name one website that I found it on, but it's on so many websites, and it's Switch related. It has to do with the SD cards. Let's say you play a game and you get you an SD card, put it in your Switch, and you beat a game, you unlock some characters. Now I don't know that you're going to be doing that quite yet, because really there's only a couple of games out for the Switch anyways. But if you were to take that SD card over to your friend's house, be like, hey, I'm going to load my profile or my game, save game data onto his, and we can just automatically have the characters, right? Well, apparently you can't do that. You cannot use an SD card that has been used on another Switch with another one. So essentially what you would have to do to use that SD card on another Switch console is pretty much format it and delete it, make it new again, and then you can take it. So that's kind of weird. That's something I'm sure they can do with an update, or fix with an update. Maybe let you use your SD cards on other Switches, or log into different accounts on somebody else's Switch, kind of like you can do on PlayStation. And I'm sure you can do on Xbox One as well. But I found that weird. Hopefully they can fix that with an update. And the Switch has been getting some pretty decent reviews. One of the common things that people are talking about that they do not like with the Switch is the battery life. And I heard Zelda Breath of the Wild, you can expect 2.5 to 3 hours. Now there's ways you can extend it, but really you're looking at 2.5 to 3 hours for Zelda Breath of the Wild. Certain games are getting up to 6 hours. But I'm wondering, the system's new, battery's fresh. What happens in like 2 months after that system's been used continuously? What kind of battery life are we going to see? So that's something I'm really wanting to wait and see what happens with. I hope it does fine. I don't want the Switch to fail. I would like to get the Switch eventually in the future. So I want it to do well. I want it to have good third-party support. I'm not hating on the Switch by any means. But yeah, so there's a few things people are not liking so far. And a lot of it is Joy-Con related, desyncing and just being out of sync with the other Joy-Con or losing connectivity. I'm sure that's something that can be fixed with an update. So that's, while it's annoying and it's a big deal right now, is something they can easily fix later. The button placement, just looking at the Switch, and I haven't even got a chance to try it, so this is just from looking at the Switch. The placement of the analog sticks are kind of weird, or the joysticks. Because I notice you have, on the right side, you have a joystick almost directly below. It's not even off, it's off to the side a little, but it's almost directly below the buttons on the right of the controller, on the right side of the controller. So I don't know, that seems kind of like it may be a little difficult to use. I don't know, I haven't tried yet. Drinking some coffee. But yeah, so a few YouTubers, Rerez mentioned that he was kind of getting some pain in his thumbs trying to play it just because of the awkward angle of the Switch controls. But I think that's probably something you can fix if you buy the $70 or $80 Pro controller, which looks really nice, and that'd probably be the way to go for me. But like I said, that's a lot of money for an accessory. I mean, what is PS4 controller? What, $60? So I mean, I'm sure it's, I don't know, there's a lot of hidden costs with the Switch that are kind of, I don't know, it's a little overpriced if you ask me. The accessories, the Switch itself, I think is priced perfectly fine. But if they're going to charge that much for accessories, they need to bring the system cost down to around $250. Some other users are reporting that continued use of the docking station on the Switch can scratch the screen, and I could see that happening, but I'm sure they make some kind of, screen protector or something you can buy for it. So I mean, really, if you're worried about it, put a screen protector on it, so not a big deal. And some more Switch news, yay! A YouTuber by the name of Gizmo Slip has been doing a Switch drop test on it to, I guess, just to see how many times you can drop the Switch before it breaks, or what kind of, durability we're looking at with the Switch. And surprisingly, it did pretty well. That was one of my worries. So as much as it sucks to see a Switch banged up and beat up like that, especially being brand new, it is nice to know that the Switch is holding up pretty well to some drop tests. The screen did not crack. The system did cut off towards the end of the video. If you haven't seen it yet, the Switch cuts off towards the end, but about halfway through the video, he's getting, a warning for a low battery. So I'm like, okay, did it turn off due to a low battery, or did it turn off because, you dropped it 11 times? So, of course, the Switch control pads that click to the side, they were receiving some pretty decent damage. They were really absorbing majority of the impact from the Switch being dropped. So that's, those aren't cheap, but it's nice to know that those do kind of protect your Switch console itself when you drop it, because they are a little more bulky than the Switch system itself. So yeah, it sucks seeing the Switch get dropped like that, but it is nice having that information and being able to see the durability of the Switch. So in some other news, we have, what do we have? Phil Spencer came out and said there's not going to be a Halo game or a Gears of War game in 2017. So, I mean, that's okay, because they just came out with Gears of War 4. Halo, I mean, they could really slow down on Halo as well. So if they can focus on some other games and give some of these big series a rest, kind of like what Ubisoft or Ubisoft, however you say that. I heard they're kind of giving Assassin's Creed a little bit of a break, because it seems like for a while they were just releasing an Assassin's Creed every year, and it was like, man, each one is getting just more watered down, and I think they do need to slow down. So hopefully Phil Spencer is thinking about that with the Halo and Gears of War series, just maybe make it come out every year and a half, every 2 years, not every single year. So yeah, he said instead they're going to be focusing more on some other games like State of Decay and Crackdown 3. Well, State of Decay 2, I'm sorry. which is actually one that I missed out on because the original came out on the 360, and I did not have a 360 at the time, and it looks like something fun. It's definitely one I'm going to want to check out. I may try to download it now that I have a gaming PC. I can download some of these Xbox games, assuming they port it to the PC or whatever. But yeah, and they said mostly they're going to be focusing on the Scorpio and getting it ready, letting people see what the games look like on the Scorpio. So I think that'll be good. The Scorpio is not going to be as powerful as people were thinking originally. Originally they were thinking it's going to be on par with some really nice gaming PCs, and it's not. It's going to be powerful, no doubt, but it's not going to be anywhere near a gaming PC's power, like a top of the line gaming PC. And the price, hopefully they do something with the price, because last I checked it was going to be really expensive. So hopefully they get that worked out. Some other news, what's going on with my channel. Like I said, this is a new series, the RetroCode Podcast. It's going to be short. This is going to be one I try to do every week. I'm also supposed to be doing shout-outs, weekly shout-outs. Haven't had a chance to do that. I changed jobs recently, and I have a new schedule, and I've kind of been getting called into work a lot. Voluntarily I asked to be called in a lot, but so my channel kind of hasn't had any real content in a while. I mean, what's the last video I uploaded? Let's see, what is the last video that I uploaded? It was a package from Radical Reggie. Awesome dude. Make sure you check out his channel. But yeah, he sent me a game just out of the kindness of his heart, so I went ahead and did a video on that. He sent me Resident Evil Deadly Silence for the Nintendo DS, or Resident Evil DS as they call it. Really awesome game. It's essentially the original Resident Evil remade for the DS. Slightly worse graphics than the PS1 version. But I noticed a few things do look better on the DS. Maybe they just changed out a few models or something, but the character model looked a little bit better on the DS. But it also has a rebirth mode where it incorporates some of the Nintendo DS's features like touchscreen and blowing into the mic and stuff like that. So I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, it's been a while since I've uploaded. That was a week ago. Anything regular, so I'm going to try to have this podcast every week at least. Try to squeeze in a shout out video as well. And I'm working on a series with another YouTuber. I won't name who yet because I want to make sure we get some good progress in the series before I start naming who I'm talking about. But I think it's gonna be a good series. It's gonna be a series on something that really interests both me and the other YouTuber, and we're gonna be collaborating, and we're gonna be putting it on the other YouTuber's channel. And then I'll have like little intros or snippets on my channel that I'll upload and then leave a link to his. But yeah, I think it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be something that I'll be really interested in, and I'm trying to find something I can upload regularly on my channel as well, other than the podcast and the shout outs. Maybe like some quick game reviews or something. Man, my chair is squeaky. But anyways, yeah, so the podcast really depends on how well it does, if people like it. If they don't like it, then I may do it anyways, just for fun. It's a way of talking about gaming related stuff, that interests me as well. A lot of times YouTubers get sucked into only making what, subscribers want to see, and that works out, but it can really like drain you, and you just get tired of making videos if you're not making videos that you really enjoy making. You're just making videos that other people enjoy. So I think it's important to make things that you enjoy, that make you happy, that interest you, because trying to please everybody else, you're not going to be able to keep that up very long. But let's see, what else. I'm still waiting on the PS4 update that's going to allow us to use external hard drives. That's something that I'm kind of surprised you can't do already. Let's see, PS4 external hard drive support. Here we go. When is that coming out? It's something I heard about. External hard drive support. They said they are going to allow it, and I'm not sure when. Let's see, there's going to be a patch 2.0 update. Can't be a 2.0 patch. The last one was a 4, wasn't it? But yeah, is the PS4 ever going to get hard drive support? I don't know. How many years are we into the PS4's lifespan? I want to be able to put my games, install them onto a hard drive, and if I want to play that game, I'll just plug it into the USB port. Currently, my PS4 is maxed out. Every time I want to play a game, I have to go, like everybody else, and delete a different game and then install that one. And I have sitting around, where is it at? Yeah, I have a 500 gigabyte external hard drive I could use. And I want to go out and buy another one. Now, you can go and buy a 1 and 2 terabyte hard drive, and I think you can put up to a 1 terabyte in the PS4 currently. But I mean, that's at least what, 120 bucks. Maybe you can get a cheap one online somewhere. But man, if you've already got a hard drive at home and you don't want to have to go and buy one specifically to fit into the PS4, I mean, we really do need that external hard drive support. So hopefully they do that soon. I would be very happy with that. No more deleting my games every time I want to play one. I have to delete a different one, at least for a while, until I fill up this 500 gig over here. But yeah, this one that I have is essentially empty. It's ready for some games. So come on, Sony, go ahead and let's get it done. Alright guys, before we bring this to a close, I'm going to talk about a few games that I've been playing lately. First off, on the PC, I've been playing The Forest, which is a game that came out a couple of years ago, but it's one I recently discovered. It was on sale on Steam, and I've been playing it online with some friends, and man, I'm really enjoying this game. It's I'm sure you've heard of it. If you haven't, I'll tell you. It's a game where you're stranded on this island after a plane crash, and you have to go and look for your son. But really, I haven't even been like following the story. I've been just free roaming, building things. There's a lot of crafting. There's cannibals on the island that will try to kill you. Different monsters, creatures. You can go hunting. Really fun survival game. I'm not sure how many people you can play with online. I've had up to 3 so far. Just, me and 2 other friends. But really enjoying that. As far as the PlayStation 4 goes, been playing some Battlefield 1. That's kind of my go-to game. When I don't feel like playing anything else, I just go and hop on Battlefield 1 multiplayer and play that. I've also been playing Resident Evil 7 and VR, so that's been really fun. I haven't beaten it yet. I only play in like 30-minute increments in VR. I've played up to like 2 hours before in VR, and I think that is the best way to play Resident Evil 7. It feels like you're there. It pulls you in, the graphics are great, makes you feel like you're there, and it makes those scares and environments and everything in the game that much more realistic and scary. But yeah, as far as PS4 goes, that's what I've been playing. I've also been playing Xenoverse 2, which I'm really enjoying so far. I made a character in the Earthling class called Captain Steel. Kind of cheesy, but he looks pretty cool. I'm gonna hopefully upgrade his skill set and all that, and get some different clothing for him here soon. But also been playing a game on the PS2 called Lara Croft Tomb Raider Legend. I've got it pulled up right here, looking at it. A really good game for the PlayStation 2. I was thinking it'd be kind of mediocre. I know another one I played on the PS2 was Angel of Darkness, and that's alright, but it's kind of a departure from what we're used to with Tomb Raider. And this Lara Croft Tomb Raider Legend really goes back to the original Tomb Raider. It's great. It's got good exploration, and man, the graphics are amazing for a PS2 game. I was looking at the difference between the PS2 and PS3 versions, and yes, the PS3 version looks better, but I'm telling you what, this PS2 version, it looks really good for a PlayStation 2 game. Oh, my throat's getting dry. Drink some coffee. Yeah. But yeah, controls are great. It's got good animation. Voice acting is good. The story actually pulls me in, makes me interested. Not as good as the reboot that we got in 2013, obviously, but it's definitely a throwback to the original Tomb Raider, and it feels like you're just playing a better version of the original Tomb Raider, so it's really fun. It's called Lara Croft Tomb Raider Legend. Definitely pick that out. That is a game I'm recommending on this podcast to check out if you have not played it yet. I got my copy for $5.99 at a local game store, complete. Yes, it is complete. Comes with the manual and everything. So yeah, definitely worth checking out. It's kind of going to bring the podcast to a close, if you want to even call it a podcast. It's very short. I could sit here and ramble on for like an hour and a half, but I think I'd run out of things to talk about, really. So I'd rather break it up into 20-minute increments, have more to talk about in those 20 minutes. Some people are really good at doing podcasts, and they can ramble on for, hour and a half, 2 hours, and that's cool. And they're good at it. Not me. So we're going to keep this one short. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed it, let me know. Just a reminder, this is my first time doing any kind of podcast, so I'm sure there's a lot of likes and ums and pauses and, so try to cut me a little break. Constructive criticism is great, or you can just be a jerk and, tell me I suck. That works too. But if you enjoyed it, hit that like button. If you did not enjoy it, you can definitely hit that dislike button. Let me know what I can do to make it better. Give me some tips. And if you enjoyed it, just let me know. Like I said, I'm going to try to do this every week. It seems like Saturdays tend to be my free day, so maybe you can expect one of these every Saturday. For the most part, I try not to keep any promises because my schedule is changing a lot. This month it's going to be kind of a regular schedule unless I pick up shifts at my work or at my job. So, but yeah, hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching, and be on the lookout for another one. We'll see you guys later. Thank you for listening to this RetroCode Podcast. I need to come up with a good outro, huh? Oh well. See you guys later.